Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title starts right now. Here's your host, Bill Nappet.
Welcome to the show, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Yes, another radio adventure is now beginning, and we have super guests as always. So if you're right here in Houston listening to the show, you might be in the Woodlands, you might be in Meyerland, Denver, Colorado, or anywhere else. A supercast is assembled, and we'll have great information on this show for you. As we're winding up the year. Already the holidays are upon us. Thanksgiving, Christmas is on the way, and yes, New Year's. So as we wind down 2019, our first guest is Ed Wolf. He is the president of Beth Wolf Realtors. Ed, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bill. I appreciate being here.
And it's been a while since we've seen you. So let's tell people, first of all, and a lot of people listen outside of the Houston area after the broadcast, let's tell them about your company.
Our company, Beth Wolf Realtors, was founded by my mother, Beth, in 1978. She has been and still is the CEO and chairman of our company, and I am the president of a woman-owned business and proud of it.
There you go. That is awesome. And you have a super location right there at St. James Place.
That's correct. We're dead center of the Galleria area. We also have a Woodlands office, but maintain about 35 agents and do work all over the 8-county area.
And as we think about this, at the end of the year, last quarter, actually the last couple of weeks of the year, if we look at it that way, we look back at 2019. How was it for your company? And as you look at Houston, what did you see real estate-wise of interest?
Thanks. The best thing about 2019 is we didn't have a flood.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, no, and I know that we're still seeing the impact of some of the issues that we experienced. One of the benefits that has come out of it was that the attention to the issues that our city faced previously are front and center, and I think that our elected officials finally got the message. We've brought in now what will finally be somewhere in the neighborhood of $6.3 billion towards flooding recovery and mitigation. That $6.3 billion were efforts by the Houston Association of Realtors, along with a large number of Houston area business groups to generate opportunity both at the federal, state, and then also at the local level. The state funds were just approved in the last election just a week and a half ago. So we'll start to see that money flow, believe it or not, the beginning of 2020, which is 3 years after Harvey's personally touched all of our lives.
It really has. And for those, we'll talk about flooding. We have some other things to talk about. But as you mentioned that, yes, it's good we didn't have one, but we always must be prepared for excessive rain in Houston, Texas. Now, it took me many years to say that and to really believe that because my home flooded during Harvey. And for those that don't know, many do know because you're so actively involved in the real estate community, especially with the issue of flood. But your home flooded more than once, right?
3 times, personal matter, and then Beth's home flooded in Harvey, but had never flooded before that. I think that's a true story for a lot of people. The biggest thing that we are concerned about is making sure that everybody carries flood insurance. Regular homeowners insurance does not cover flooding. Making sure that every buyer in the greater Houston area up and down the Gulf Coast should carry flood insurance backed by the federal government, but purchased through your insurance agent. A knowledgeable insurance agent who's selling insurance in Houston is going to tell you need flood insurance. I don't care where you live on a hill, live in a levee improvement district. It doesn't matter. There's nobody who can be engineered out of flooding in Houston.
No question about it. But also, one of the things you did for the next heavy rain, you did something unique. Well, maybe not super unique, but let's tell people what you did to protect yourself against that next heavy rain.
I elevated my house 6 feet in the air, took a 1950s construction and jacked it up, sort of a foundation job on steroids. 87 piers, elevating it 6 feet in the air. And at this point, I doubt seriously that we would flood. And if we did, then we've got a lot bigger problems in Houston.
No doubt about it. But also, I saw some of the pictures. Architecturally speaking, the home really looks nice, and it looks like a brand new home.
Yeah, we were chosen as one of the 8 homes on the Rice Design Alliance tour this year. So they had us on their tour, and over 1,000 people came to take a look at what we had done. And so I feel good about that. We did it just because we wanted to, and we liked it.
You liked the house.
And,
I heard you say that.
Loved the house, loved the layout. And the design work was a collaborative between us and Architectura, the company who did our work, and they did a really, really good job.
Another word for people as far as protection and thinking about the next big rain or the next big flood, if they can't raise their home, certainly we can have flood insurance, but is there anything else that you would recommend, or as you deal with buyers and sellers out there, and I'm sure a lot of them have sought you out knowing your experience for counsel, how do you advise people buying and selling here in Houston when we face rain in the way we do?
Well, I think it's important to understand that the amount of rainfall that we're receiving on an hourly basis is increasing over time, and that the city streets are only designed to carry so much water out to the distribution system. So if it rains more than 2 inches in an hour, you are potentially in a position where flooding will occur. And so more than 2 inches in an hour happens on a fairly regular basis in Houston. What you need to know is, how does that water flow around your house? Understand the history of what's happened in the neighborhood, but also understand that history doesn't necessarily dictate the future. And once you carry that flood insurance, you then making sure positive drainage from your house, from the back of the house to the front, is what the city of Houston requires. But in outlying areas where there's not a municipality and you're just in the unincorporated county, you may not have as many rules and regulations. So pay attention to it yourself. Make sure that your inspections include a drainage assessment, looking at how the property drains, and make sure that you're not in a situation where harm can come your way.
And when you show someone homes, let's say some buyers, I bet that's one of the questions: did this home flood?
100%. And our
every
new
time
seller's
they ask
disclosure
that.
form, which was mandated starting September 1st, our new seller's disclosure form has a whole paragraph now on flood history, area history, ponding, are all listed on there as questions. Are you located in a reservoir? Now is on the seller's disclosure form, which it never was before. So we've done a lot to update and make it more transparent to buyers.
A side note, when there are heavy rains that are on the national news in Houston, Texas, I have my friends from Pennsylvania. Hey, are you okay? Are you okay? So let's change gears, though. As far as we were talking about iBuyers, so many things have become topics on the horizon here in 2019, and some of them will continue next year, and there'll be some new ones on the horizon. But as far as iBuyers, and is the real estate purchase and sale becoming less personal? What are you thinking, Ed?
Something we've done as a company, we have a great team, and Brian Ladd, who's our Vice President of Business Development, does a lot with our technology. As he said to me earlier today, we've had iBuyers for 15, 20 years, people who look online to find property, consider buying it. The process being as automated as some people sell it to be is not really, in my opinion, the best thing for every purchaser. And in the end, the algorithms that computers create that say this is the perfect home for you, or the value of this house is obviously this because it's done a computer analysis of everything surrounding it, can still put you on a very busy street and it says that the dollar per square foot value is exactly this, and in reality it doesn't know that you're on a busy street, or that the septic system in the back isn't working right, or that you back to an easement, or that you side to a power line, or that the neighborhood itself doesn't have the things that you're looking for, like the schools or the grocery shopping, or a specific situation that may be important to you as a family member or one of your family members. So we're never going to replace our interaction with the client. What we are going to do is take the professionalism that is a realtor who understands the needs of their client and provide the added value on top of utilizing the computer systems as tools to give you the right information and data, and hopefully be more accurate in what we're predicting and looking at for the future.
No doubt the technology, we have more tools technology-wise than ever before. However, like you're saying, the relationship that we build, that you've built with clients 10 years ago, I'm sure you're still serving some of their friends and even family members, and that's just a nice thing for realtors to do and other professionals. But the relationship is so important, and the knowledge that you bring and other realtors bring to the table that is intangible and is not found on a device. I'm looking at two of my devices right now, or on any computer. It's just very valuable what the real estate professional has to offer.
It's great. I got a text message from one of my clients the other day that his daughter was going to be doing something substantial. She actually sang the national anthem at Monday Night Football this last week in Mexico City.
Wow.
And she was 12 years old when I sold them their house here in Houston. I have since sold her a house, and her and her husband are now building a house. So the generational effect of helping somebody and then their children, and hopefully eventually their grandchildren, because I plan on being around long enough to help do that.
In fact, it was this past year in the Wall Street Journal, as we talk about technology, one of the things, they had an article, I don't know if you saw it, in the Friday Mansion section of the Wall Street Journal, which is a great real estate tool, by the way. They had a deal where they talked about people buying homes where they've never even seen them. So they had like a person in California buying a home in Florida. I guess they got whatever facts, they buy it, and then they show up to move in. Now, I that's the only time I've heard of that, but
we've actually sold some people a house by FaceTime. We have helped them where the first day they saw the house was the day before closing. There is nothing more frightening, potentially heart attack inducing to a realtor than to have their client show up the day before closing and having never seen the house. But there are times when we have to do that. People moving from overseas, they don't have the latitude now with their corporations to fly over. And so we are placed in that position, especially in Houston, where a lot of times this is a 5-year transaction for somebody. It's not their lifelong dream home.
And Ed, say with the next minute or so before we close out the segment, what else would you like people to know about your company or what you may see coming down the road here in 2020 or anything else?
Yeah, it's important to us that our team is professionals who do this full-time. It's important that when you're looking for a realtor, that you're looking for somebody who does do this business for their living and who is there to look out for your best interests. And we strive to do that. We're very proud of our group. We have a 99% approval rating that was just publicized through QSC, a third-party company that does survey all of our clients. And we're really, really proud to be one of 30 companies our size in the nation that were honored with that result.
And Ed, if someone wants to reach out to you, what should they do?
They should give us a call at 713-622-9339 or go to our website at www.bethwolff.com, bethwolff.com.
Bethwolff.com, 2 F's, Ed Wolff. He is the president. Thank you, Ed, for being on the show. He'll be coming back later. We're going to take a short break. Stay with us, please.
Thanks for having me.
Stewart Insurance is proud to sponsor Real Estate Matters. As a Stewart company, we focus on uniting real estate and insurance. Our goal is for all clients to be properly insured. When you are properly insured, you're confident in the insurance decisions you make. Whether it's professional liability or homeowner's insurance, everyone deserves to be confident. We invite you to join the properly insured Stewart Insurance. Connect with us at stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827. That's 866-798-2827. Stewart Insurance, stewartinsurance.com. Here we go. Real Estate Matters with Stewart Tottle. I'm your host, Bill Nampick, and now we're going to talk to Brian Ladd. He's the Vice President of Business Development. Guess where? Beth Wolff Realtors. Hey, Brian.
How are you?
It's great. So let's tell people, when we think about business development, your company has the 2 locations, right? The Woodlands, right
Absolutely.
there, St. James Place in the center of the Houston universe is what I say about that area. I love it there. Let's tell people about what you're doing and the roads that you're paving for the company there.
Sure, absolutely. I think one of the biggest things that we face is the different forces in the real estate world and how we can prepare our agents to better serve their clients, whether that be a buyer or a seller. So when you have agents that are either brand new to the industry or people that are coming from other companies, how do they work with the tools that we offer to best serve their clients?
And as we said earlier, there are so many tools, especially in the technology world. A lot of things are on the horizon. I'm wondering what kind of things we're going to hear about next year, because there's always something new. But in the meantime, you're helping people use the tools right now, certainly technology. Was there anything in this year that surprised you or that emerged that you found that you're using this year, 2019, versus, say, last year?
We certainly have a few new tools. We've developed a new social media platform that allows people to design content that's branded and pushed to all of their platforms with scheduling that's new for us, that is completely kind of semi-proprietary. And a lot of it really is using technology to go back to what a lot of people had been forgetting with email and social media, and that's that personal touch. We don't want anyone to forget how important the personal nature of our industry is, because that really is what reaches out to people as customer service, and that's highly our focus. Certainly you hear a lot, especially media and such, with blockchain and AI, and how that's going to disrupt the real estate industry. And there's a lot of noise about that, but it's not necessarily, in my opinion, something that's going to come to a real fruition, because at the end of the day, you're taking a market that has a relatively complex transaction with a lot of forces, economic and such, that impact the real estate industry. And when you compare that to other industries, you still have a lot of personal nature in this industry. People are emotional when they're buying and selling a property, and they need someone with years of experience and a team behind them in order to, navigate that.
Indeed, there is a very big element of emotional involved in many transactions, but certainly the real estate one. The other thing that comes to mind is that along the way, I think people, and I think back to my experience buying homes and also hearing about things, but the role that the real estate professional serves, one of them is that they're a counselor, they're a coach. And quite frankly, the complexities of that can emerge in a real estate transaction, especially a difficult one or even a regular one, there are so many things that are there along the way, and especially if someone doesn't buy or sell a home but every 10 years, you need to bring them up to date. And I would think a lot of it is coaching and counseling at the same time.
Certainly. We tell everyone that they're a facilitator, and part of the most important portion of my job, Ed's job, Beth's job, is to be there every day for our agents to answer difficult questions, point them in the right direction, and be there for the client as well. That's part of the importance of working with a team, so that if you don't particularly know an answer, you have someone that does, and your client needs to feel that.
That's right. The other thing that comes to mind, the realtor of all the many roles, so numerous to mention. However, one comes to mind, I'm thinking about it now, is the ambassador. The real estate professional needs to be an ambassador in many cases of Houston, Texas. If it's someone coming from afar, they need to be the ambassador of an area of town, the Heights, Meyerland, the Galleria, and even going to focus even more, they need to be an ambassador of a neighborhood sometimes. And as in doing so, they either research or know that area, a given area, very well. Thus, they become that ambassador.
Absolutely. And that's something where I think we've seen some of the biggest impact in technology is think about how fast we get information now, and how fast as a realtor and as a professional in all of those different areas, you can digest that information, put it in a manageable way, and present it back to the client.
In fact, I'm thinking once again to your main office location right there at St. James Place. I lived there for 15 years in that area. So if someone were to ask, hey, what's around there? Where do I want to get a good dinner or whatever? Where do I want to walk the dog? I'm going to have that answer. Now, if I were a realtor, I'd be able to coach as the real estate professional, but I know that area just like realtors do, and that's so important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then taking it as you're doing it professionally, being able to build that knowledge base of multiple areas, you can work with people as they decide and shift and their lifestyle and their needs change. You can help them for a long time.
That's another important thing, lifestyle and needs change. And Brian, as I was talking about that area that you're in, I want to move back there. Do you know a good realtor?
I think so.
I bet you know a whole team, right? So anyway, yeah, that's a super area, but that's the other thing about Houston. I guess other cities are like this, but we have so many unique, fun places, and like you said, that lifestyle. If you want to live in the Heights, that's one thing. You want to live by the Galleria, or let's say you want high-rise living. We have so many different categories to offer.
Absolutely. Different areas, different parts of town, and having people that are able to address the kind of microcosms that go in with that. It's completely different. People change their needs every day, and we want to be there to help them.
And I would guess, too, at your meetings as you're leading the crew there and developing your business, I bet you hear new things when your group gets together to share about whatever category. Take the high-rise. Oh, they just opened up a new thing. Or this high-rise is now doing this little amenity or this little activity. Because here in Houston, we have so much of everything. Competition is a good thing, and it forces all the business people, whether it's a high-rise or some development master planners and things like that, everybody's trying to outdo the other one. So for the consumer, it's pretty good.
Absolutely. And it goes back to the teamwork element. Having 35 agents that work together from a knowledge-based perspective is exactly that. You have different opinions, different ideas that come together, different knowledge bases. You got to have people that know high-rises. You got to have people that know single-family. And you got to have people that know new construction. And having them all come together really impacts people.
And certainly as a consumer, we benefit, and not to mention that dynamic plays out in a tremendous way in the restaurant world. We live in a great restaurant city. I'm getting hungry right now.
Absolutely.
So let's tell people, Brian, with the last couple minutes, what else would you like them to know about your company, the team, anything else?
Sure. My role at Beth Wolf, and I think our entire team's role at Beth Wolf, is to ensure that our agents have the tools so that they can represent their clients in the best way possible, so the clients feel that we're professional and capable. That's been my biggest role in the company. I think it will continue. We'll use technology every step of the way to enhance our role as opposed to replace our role. And I think that that's really what we'll continue to see into 2020 and moving forward.
And when you think about 2020, especially at this time of year as you're getting your goals and plans together, how excited are you about what will unfold in this year ahead?
I mean, I think just the last few weeks, we've seen an absolutely incredible uptick in activity. I think we'll continue to see it for the rest of the year and through next year.
Brian Ladd, Vice President, Business Development, Beth Wolf Realtors. How can people reach you, Brian?
Give us a call, 713-622-9339, or my email is Brian, BRIAN, at bethwolf.com. So that's BETHWOL, F as in Frank, Frank.com.
The number again is?
713-622-9339.
We're coming right back. Thank you, Brian. Cyber criminals are on the offensive. In real estate, the average loss of a wire fraud scheme is $130,000. How do we fight these risks? Establish a good defense. At Stewart Insurance, we believe there are two sides to a formidable defense. Manage the risk, offset the risk with insurance. Concerned if your insurance is offsetting the cyber risk? Contact Stewart Insurance to determine if you are properly insured. Connect with us at stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827, 866-798-2827. 900. And welcome back. Here he is. Let's talk money. Sente Mortgage with Milton Birdwell. He's here right now. Milton, welcome to the show.
Thanks. I'm happy to be here.
Haven't seen you since Christmas in July.
I know. We were giving away puppies.
In fact, we're having the real Christmas come up in a few weeks. So let's tell people, first of all, Sente Mortgage, let's tell them about your company.
We are a Texas-based company. Our corporate headquarters are in Austin, and we do loans in mostly Texas and Louisiana. And I have 7 people who do loans in my office, but we have a lot of offices statewide. And our real focus is similar to the one that Beth Wolf talks about, in that our goal is to help our customer in a professional manner to get them into the home with the best terms and conditions that meet their needs.
I like what's on your card. Smarter money, smarter move.
Yep, that's what we try for.
Well, when we think about, I mentioned earlier, complexities in a real estate transaction, it seems as far as the money part, let's tell people if they haven't purchased a home in a while, it just dawns on me right now. If someone hasn't done that in a while and they're thinking, man, I want to go get a loan, I'm going to call Milton. What is involved and what should people be thinking, and how long should they prepare before they go to buy a home in terms of the financial part?
What I highly suggest is that when people think they want to make a move, that they come and see me first, because we're the first step before you go pick a realtor, before you go look at a home. You need to make sure that your finances are in order. So that you can have a smooth transaction. And if you come to us first, we will pull your credit. We will look and see if you have any issues out there you don't know about. And it does happen, especially with the medical reporting. It's amazing how many times people come in and they have a $20 medical collection that they had no idea that they have. And it affects their credit score, which would then affect their interest rates. And so we gather all the documents they need, which is not really any different than it's ever been, because I've been doing this since 1980, and the documents we need to get you approved are pretty much the same, except for the period of time when we had the breathe on the mirror loans, which created a lot of problems, as you well know. So now we're back to the old documentation where we want to look at your income, look at your assets, and look at your credit and make sure that you're buying a home that you can afford and that you're happy with the payment.
I have to ask the question, what were the interest rates, if you remember, around 1980, 81, 82, 80? I don't remember, but they were high.
I remember that in the early 80s, and I won't go as early as 81 maybe, but in the early 80s when I was selling real estate at that point, and loan officers wouldn't lock your interest rate until you were sitting in front of them, and they could call the investor and lock your loan while they were there. And they were double digit, and the highest one I ever saw was about 16%.
Man, that's high. So right now, let's say something, I'm sure people ask you the rate all the time. I wasn't going to, but I will. Let's say someone has an 820 credit score, which is like really, really good, right?
Mm-hmm. Very good.
So they have a great credit score. What are some of the lowest rates that you're seeing right now for these top candidates with these high scores, and the other things that you look for?
Well, the first thing you have to remember, there's lots of different kinds of loans.
Right.
So do the people want an
How about
ARM?
a 15-year?
Do they want a 15-year fix? Do they want a 30-year fix? So remember, my job is to help match those people with the loan that meets all their needs.
What about a 15-year
So a
fixed?
15-year today is going to be somewhere down in the low threes.
Wow. Pretty nice.
Yeah.
But again, going back to that idea, you would tailor it to the individual or to the family, depending what their goals are and those things, because a lot of factors come into play, thus the complexities.
Absolutely. Financing for your home is an individualized deal. And it doesn't matter what your parents think. It doesn't matter what your best friend thinks. Your financing needs to be what's appropriate for you.
There you go. As far as, and here's another general question, let's say out of the last 10 loans that you've provided, what was the average down payment?
The average down payment for me is probably 20%. But in my office, it's probably closer to between 5 and 10. You can do an FHA loan with as little as 3.5% down. You can do some Fannie and Freddie financing with as little as 3% down. But most people try to get to the 20% range where they don't have mortgage insurance. And, people talk about mortgage insurance being bad and evil, but mortgage insurance isn't bad and evil. Mortgage insurance allows people who haven't had the ability to save 20% to get into a home and get into the game, because you can't have build your net worth and you can't gain if you're not playing the game.
That's right. So, and then what about for veterans as far as loans, VA loans?
VA, 100%. It's a great deal for veterans, and especially right now. It's interest rates are great. Even the 30-year fixed mortgages on VA are in the mid-threes, and it's a great time for veterans to be buying.
And let's tell people the name of the company is Sente Mortgage. We're talking with Milton Birdwell. Give them an idea. I remember when I talked to someone with Sente a long time ago, I said, where did you all get the name?
Well, Sente means that it's a strategic move to win. And so everybody in our company is focused on helping our customers win, and that means closing on time with the interest rate that we've promised you, with everything that we've promised you to get there.
And a lot of things go into the mix, right?
A lot of things, and a lot of people have to touch the transaction with starting with your mortgage banker, your realtor, the appraiser, the surveyor, the title company, the insurance company. There are a lot of professionals who are there to help you, and the most important thing is that you have a great team helping you.
So you too have to be a coach in a way and a counselor along the way.
Absolutely. It's one of the most important things we do.
And let's tell people along the way, we know we hear this all the time, if they're in the process of getting a loan and buying a home, they should not make any major expenses once they begin the process, right? I mean,
even before they
let
begin
the word go forth, right?
Even before they begin the process, if you think you're going to buy a house, don't go buy a car first. Come and talk to us first, so that we can help make sure that that won't prevent you from being able to buy the home you want.
And I was thinking about this question at least part of the week. And so that is great advice. Stay steady. And my son, by the way, is buying a home, closing on it tomorrow. And I told him the same thing, and I'm sure his mortgage person did. But what happens? Let's say someone forgets that good advice or doesn't follow it, and during the loan process, they end up buying, I don't know, $5,000 worth of furniture. Maybe they buy a car. Now, is it the end of the world? Could be.
It might not be the end of the world, but it could be the end of their purchasing process, so that, it's very important that people understand that when you're in that process, you want to stay steady and not be making major purchases.
That's a great word, stay steady. Milton Birdwell. Milton, if someone wants to reach out to you, what should they do to stay steady?
Call me at 832-962-4409. That's my direct line. Feel free to call me anytime.
Again, it is
832-962-4409.
Sounds like you said 832-962-4409, right,
That's
Milton?
it.
Give them a call. We're going to take a short break, come right back with even more. Thank you, Milton.
Thanks.
If you are a real estate professional, please listen closely. Cyber criminals are targeting our industry. They are impersonating real estate professionals, home buyers, sellers, and title agents, and their goal is to gain access to your inboxes, computers, and clients so they can steal information and funds. Does your business insurance offset these risks? Not sure? Contact Stewart Insurance to determine if your real estate business is properly insured. Connect with us at stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827. Welcome back. Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. And now we're going to talk to Sharon Witt. She is a writer. Did you ever look at those brochures that are written about the great, that you go to an open house, you see a brochure? Sometimes a professional writer is on the scene behind those great words that are put together. She's right here, right now, writing tremendous brochures for top real estate professionals all over the city of Houston. Sharon, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bill. It's great to be here again. I appreciate it.
It's been a while, and you are a top writer. As they say, you have a way with words, especially the written word.
Well, hopefully, yes, I do. I love it. I have a passion for it. I think that probably makes a difference.
So let's tell people about what you do. I said you help people write brochures as far as real estate professionals. Let's tell people a little bit about that and the process.
Okay, well, I really help top realtors. I don't say just top realtors. Actually, my work stems from a great variety of price ranges, because what I have found is that the agents, I was an agent for 9 years, and agents really think it's very important, and they embrace the listing, and they want to be represented very beautifully for their seller. So that a lot of times that's where I come in. And my assignment is really to present a listing for an agent in its very best light and showcase all the really strong points. And my job, as I view it, is to write a creative picture of this beautiful home and really highlight all of its strong points. Oftentimes, the lens in which I see a house is totally different from what someone else would see. When I'm given an assignment to write about a particular home, I like to experience it before I write, and walk through it, literally walk through it, either through photo captions or physically, because I want to experience this home. I want to get the ambiance, the overall feel. I want to see the ease of living. I like to notate all of its superior craftsmanship and all the fine finishes, whether it's uniformity of arches or what have you. And I also, it's very important, I like for the agent to be sure and tell me anything special that the owner of the home has incorporated. And then I try to package all that together to set it apart as something that a buyer would really like to see and eventually purchase.
That sounds awesome. In addition, I like how you, as you started talking, Sharon, I started thinking about all the talk that we've had on the show this year, especially, and in past years, about how important photography is. And it is very important.
Yes.
And that is a picture. But what you're doing, as you describe it, works hand in hand with that photography, because you can have a great picture or several pictures in the case of a home, but having the right words to go with that for people to see either digitally, online, before they're in another country, they're going to look at homes, they see that description, or as I said, they go to the open house and they bring the brochure back. Those things, I bet a lot of real estate professionals don't realize the importance of the words and the pictures working together.
Well, I think that it has come into focus much stronger in the last maybe 2 years. And I write hundreds of photo captions, and believe it or not, that's the most difficult part of my job. It is extremely time-consuming because I dissect every single thing not every single thing, but I try to dissect the really important things that are in that picture. Because if you go through the photograph very quickly, you are going to miss, as I say, the uniformity of arches, or possibly the wide plank hardwood floors, or the triple crown moldings, or these beautiful clear-story windows, or some fabulous balustrade that was custom designed. That is what I like to do, is to be sure that those things are notated. And what I have found from the agents is when someone sees a home or they're considering looking at a home, they really like to go back and look at the pictures and read individually exactly what the home has, because it helps them prepare them. Plus, it helps them decide whether that's something, that they would really, one of the homes that they would like to see. And as you know, Bill, there are many, many choices of spectacular homes on the market in Houston today. And my job, my primary goal in my writing is to write something about a home that sets it apart, that makes that buyer want to go see it, and eventually make it their own personal dwelling.
You said an important thing as far as writing the description, the feel, all that's important. But the other thing that, like you said, is challenging is the photo caption, because there you're only using a few words. And I think it was Mark Twain that said, I would have written you a shorter note if I had more time, something like that.
I think that's what Mark said.
Yeah.
That's good.
He used to work with our company. But anyway, yeah. No, I'm just saying, but the whole idea is that when you have to trim it down to a few words, it's harder. Even in correspondence.
Yes, it's really a challenge. And I just can't say enough about the importance of how the home and the photographs are presented, because we live in a very visual world, and people revisit visual. They revisit anything that's visual, because that's really basically that's what they relate to. I want to tell you one other thing that I do for agents, if I may.
Of course.
And this happens to be my favorite medium. This is when I act as a ghostwriter for agents that are in need of a thank you letter, maybe a speech. Love writing speeches, or just a follow-up to a transaction, a follow-up note, or something like that. But I love being the ghostwriter, and I want to report to you, Bill, that so far, 100% of the feedback from the agents has been, I love this. That's exactly what I wanted to say. Because
there you go. Well, because you get like the
them.
house, you get to know the person and how their style is, and it goes back to what we're talking about, the personal nature. Sometimes we think we're losing that personal nature as far as all the technology, but it's so important. I think the realtor or any professional should write that handwritten note, thank you, or
and
all those things.
My clients
so
really
important.
want to, and I have one client she's just wonderful, and she's a precious, very kind person, and she wants to express herself in a certain way, but she has real difficulty because I know her so well. I write exactly as she would like to talk. So she writes me back, thank you for your gift of words. I love this. It's exactly what I wanted to say to them.
It is indeed. Sharon, let's tell people how they can reach out to you. There may be someone right now that wants to write something but just can't put it together, or they want to contact you. What should they do?
My telephone number is 713-816-6770. And you can reach me by email at SharonGWitt@yahoo.com.
The number again is
713-816-6770.
okay. And now your name is Sharon Witt. However, we have Parker Witt, who's
Yes,
our
we do.
A+ escrow officer at Stewart
Yes.
Fine Properties.
The
Now-
best.
And he is the best. Now, his name's Witt, your name's Witt, but you're not necessarily related as a family, but you're super friends, right?
That's right, many years.
And Parker, is that correct?
That is correct. We are super friends.
Well,
like
Parker,
that.
let's tell people you have been with Stewart Title for many years, leading the team, Stewart Fine Properties. Let's tell people a little bit about the location that you're working in, the area that you serve, and the clients that you've served year after year.
We started over at Post Oak Boulevard in 1998, and we have recently moved to our new location. It's 2925 Richmond Avenue. It's the Kirby Grove building, and it's right by the beautiful Levy Park. We're on the 15th floor. My team, we have 5 closers in there. 2 of them have over 30 years of experience, and altogether we have about 70 years of closing experience between all of the closers. So there's a lot of knowledge going on in our company, and it's just a
Outstanding.
great office.
Yes. sounds
It
great.
really is. And also, when we think about the personal touch, as you serve people in the real estate transaction, as it all comes together there at the closing table, you have customers, referrals, repeat customers year after year, and you handle all kinds of transactions, from the simplest to the even difficult ones sometimes.
Yes, absolutely.
How do you do it, Parker?
Well, we just take it one file at a time. Each file is a little bit unique, but you take it one file at a time. And if you get one that you have any questions on, we have a fantastic underwriting team that we can rely on if we have any questions. And like I said, there are other closers in the office that we can all refer to.
And I've known you for quite a few years, Parker. Of all the things that you do as you close and help real estate professionals and everyone that's involved in the transaction, what is it that keeps you excited to do it year after year? And here we go, 2020's upon us. What do you love so much about what you're doing?
Well, that started when I started training in '98 with Jane Burkhalter, and back then we were doing low-income housing. And when you finally tell someone, we are closed, funded, here are your keys, and they start crying, that is the most wonderful feeling in the world. And it doesn't matter what price range it is. When you say we're closed and funded, everyone gets that very happy feeling and relief that we got it closed.
I'm feeling
and
happy
funded.
right now. I'm
Yeah.
putting myself in that place, and it goes back to the idea. It's an emotional transaction.
Yes.
Maybe not commercial so much, but when we're talking about residential homes, it is personal, and there we have the emotions on display at the closing table.
And then they finally have their keys to their new dream house.
That's so
And it's
exciting.
something they just do very seldom in life. I mean, this is not
You
an
don't do it very
everyday
often,
occurrence. Yeah,
right.
And
it's
also
monumental.
at Stewart Fine Properties, you have Christina Sacco leading the team of business development efforts in a tremendous way, 24/7, even when she sleeps.
Yes.
How does she do it?
She is very good. I think the best way to get business is by going out, interacting with the realtors. She's very good about organizing the events, the pet adoption that we had talked about. I think they did a build-a-bike thing not too long ago. Even the old-fashioned happy hour on Friday and get some realtors together. I met a realtor, and I've gotten 2 contracts. That I had never met her before, and I now have 2 contracts within a month.
Funny how it all comes together. How could people reach you, Parker? I know they're driving around right now, or they're at their computer or somewhere, and they're saying, I'd like Parker to close my next file. I know they do.
Well, we are located at 2925 Richmond Avenue. That's on Richmond between Kirby and Buffalo Speedway, right by Levy Park. And our phone number is 713-625-8624.
One more time.
713-625-8624, and that is my direct line.
The legendary Parker Witt right here. And we're going to keep the show moving right now as John Bramlett approaches the microphone. We talk about properly insured. John is with Stewart Insurance. Once again, he is back. The ratings go through the roof. We've seen that here on recent shows. Mr. Bramlett, welcome back.
Captain, how are you, sir?
We're good. What a show. What about the information and the personal touch, properly insured, emotion? All these things come into play with everything, with every business, and insurance as well.
Absolutely. I thought our first 300 shows were fantastic. The next 300 are going to be even better.
Amazing. So let's we think about the emotions. as far as insurance goes, we hope that no one has a claim or there's not a claim, but when there is, people can get very emotional, especially when we think, I know when my home flooded, I had flood insurance. You guys were the first guys I called.
Well, absolutely. I think the critical issue there, Bill, is that people are confident in what their insurance coverage is, so there's not that surprise. So that when life happens, and it's going to happen, that you can get back to whatever your normal is as quickly as possible.
No doubt about it. John, what other thoughts do you have for us today on this very special show?
Well, Bill, we recently did a survey of independent real estate brokers, and it asked them several different questions, one of which was what types of information was important to them as they continue to try to grow their business. And one of the things that the number one thing that they said was more information about sales and marketing. How can I use sales and marketing to help me grow my real estate brokerage? So today I wanted to share a little bit about a congruence model that we use as part of our selling process at Stewart Insurance. So there's an organization called Integrity Solutions that has an integrity selling program that we've adopted at Stewart Insurance that we're quite proud of, and was developed by a guy named Ron Willingham. And if folks would like to read a bit more about it, the book is Integrity Selling for the 21st Century, and it's a great read. But in that, Ron talks about a congruence model and the idea that there are really kind of 5 buckets or circles that make up the sales process. And the closer that you can get those circles together so they truly are in congruence, the more successful you will be from a sales perspective. So those are, what's your view of selling? So are you doing something to somebody or something for somebody? What are your view of your abilities? Do I feel like that I'm comfortable and I provide value for my clients, or am I not prepared? Have I not done my homework? What are my values? What are the guidelines that I live by and operate by? What are my commitment to activities? Am I willing to do what's necessary to get the job done? Am I willing to step up in order to make sure that that sale occurs and the client is happy? And then finally is a belief in product. Are you comfortable in the product that you have? Do you believe in the product that you have? I mean, we heard from Milton and from Mr. Wolf and from Parker today about that they all believe in the product that they offer and the delivery that they have for their clients. So those are the elements that are really critically important if you're going to be a truly successful salesperson. And the more that you can bring those together in congruence, the more success you'll have.
That sounds like a great book. In fact, I started the book, and I think I'm on about page 50, but it's a great book. Those are great concepts, but it also goes back to the idea of the personal, all those things that, those are things that we have to be mindful of, and that's not a computer. That's us as human beings going forth with those principles in place to be able to serve people. In the case of a realtor, buyers and sellers. In the case of an escrow officer, all the parties in the transaction.
Absolutely. So it's however you communicate and however your clients want to communicate with you, whether it be text or email or online or face-to-face, those elements still come into play. And those elements are still going to be critical. It's still going to be helping them figure out what's important to them, what might be a pain point that they might have that we can come in and solve.
And as we started the show where Ed talked a little bit about flood insurance, everybody should have it. They can also get that from Stewart Insurance, and we recommend it. And if they want flood insurance or any other kind of protection, cybersecurity, all those things, you're there to help people. How can they reach out to you, John?
Absolutely. So whether it be flood insurance, homeowners insurance, auto, errors and omissions, cyber liability, workers' comp, they can reach us at 866-798-2827, 866-798-2827, or stewartinsurance@stewart.com.
One of my favorite numbers, that's 866-798-2827.
866-798-2827.
You sound like radio guys giving phone numbers out, but that's a great number to call. If you want that flood insurance, I know you do, you better get it. Or if you want some counseling on other kinds of insurance to tailor and to protect your brokerage and or your home and portfolio, right?
Absolutely.
And we will continue the show. We're going to bring back anything else before we close here, John?
No, just it's been another fantastic show, and we're looking forward to next week.
There you go, 866-798-2827. Mr. Wolf is now coming back to the microphone for a closing thought. Ed, welcome back. Here he is, Ed Wolf. Ed, before we close things out, what else would you like people to know?
I think it's really, really important that people know how important it is to have professionals involved in the transaction, and whether it's Parker on the closing side or through Stewart Insurance and all the other pieces of the puzzle, Milton, Birdwell, and mortgage. When you have a team of professionals working together, the best compliment we can get is a client looking at us at the end of the day and saying, wow, that was easy. I didn't know it was that easy to buy a house. Because in the end, they shouldn't see all of the things that are going on in the background. And with these professionals in this team, I think you can easily find that situation on a regular basis.
And you're right. There are so many things that are going on in the background, but there is that personal touch where the real estate professional like yourself is there to coach and to keep things going, because sometimes the transaction could hit a roadblock or a bump.
Yeah, and they do. Just about every one has some form of a roadblock or bump, but that's our job, is to take those bumps and smooth them out, make sure there's not a pothole.
And Ed, how can people reach you once again at your company?
713-622-9339 is our office number, and www.bethwolff.com.
And in fact, if Beth Wolf is listening right now, on behalf of Stewart Title, Christina Sacco, and all of us here, we say hello.
Fantastic.
She's super awesome.
She's a great person.
Indeed. Milton is back with Sente Mortgage. Milton Birdwell. So let's tell people, before we close out the show, how can they reach you, Milton? And one final thought.
They can reach me at 832-962-4409. And my final thought is, no matter who you choose a group of professionals that you trust and use their knowledge to get you through this process. Because I tell everybody, the closing table should be anticlimactic. You come in, you sign your name, you get your keys, you go home with a smile on your face. The worst thing that can happen is you show up there and have a catastrophe. And that's why you use professionals to prevent that from happening. And Parker's great at keeping people happy at the table.
He sure is. Super smooth. We want to keep things smooth. And how can they reach you, Milton?
832-962-4409.
There you go. And do not be sad that the show is ending at the time of broadcast, because it never really ends. It is always at Stewart.com/Houston. And also, we want to thank, I mentioned Christina Sacco here doing tremendous work. She's Business Development Officer at Stewart Title. Stewart Fine Properties right there at 2925 Richmond Avenue. But if you need Christina, I say stay close to your Stewart Title Business Development Officer wherever you're at. And if you're in the Stewart Fine Properties area, Richmond, give her a call at 713-625-8626, or call her on her mobile, 713-325-1748, Christina Sacco. But if you're in the Woodlands, Google Stewart Title. Find out who your business development officer is, because they're a resource for you. They got some events coming up. In fact, the one and only Dr. Ted C. Jones, our chief economist, is going to be coming up on this show in about 3 shows, but also he is making an appearance near you. Your business development officer will know about that. Dr. Ted C. Jones, the 8th wonder of the real estate world, and Stewart Title's chief economist. So until next week, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Stewart.com/Houston. That's right. That's where all the shows are at. Stewart.com/Houston. We'll see you next week. Thanks for listening. Thank you, everybody, for being on the show.